Hi, I'm Georgia. I'm the General Manager here at the Wade Institute, and today we're talking all about financial assistance and scholarships to be able to help you to study in the University of Melbourne's Master of Entrepreneurship here at Wade Institute. And to help me today, we've got Di Bamber, who's the Director of Advancement for Ormond College and also for the Wade Institute. So Di, can you tell us a bit, what's your role here at Wade Institute?
Sure, Georgia. I've been at Ormond for several years, and I was part of the original group that thought up of the idea of having the Wade Institute at Ormond College because we really believe in creating the next generation of entrepreneurs. And I was lucky enough to be involved in talking to Peter Wade about supporting this idea with his fantastic gift of $10 million, which really made it a reality. And I've also been involved in asking and approaching many of our Ormond alumni to support the program and make it a reality for people who really want to come and study here.
Yeah, so we this year have given away several $100,000 in scholarships and financial assistance. Why is that assistance so important for a program like the Master of Entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so mainly students are here full time, which means that they're intensively studying. The course goes for a year, and you really need to focus on the course and not be limited by your financial circumstances. So if you need financial support, the scholarships are there to support you. And even some of our part-time students need some financial support as well. So the scholarships are very much geared towards people who need that financial support to be able to be here and really concentrate on the course and developing your business, of course.
Yeah, so you mentioned before some of the entrepreneurs that are alumni here at Ormond College who have been just incredibly supportive of the Wade Institute, apart from Peter Wade. So they've provided some funding for financial assistance, haven't they?
They have. Quite a few of them came to the initial launches of Wade and said, how can we help? How can we make this a reality to students? So people like John Patterson and Annie have really come on board. They're successful business people themselves. They've contributed incredible scholarships and support, and it's just been brilliant. We've got quite a pool of money to give out. Those people also passionately believe in the students that are receiving that scholarship, so they also support them in other business, partnership, network ways. But the reality is there's quite a lot of financial support, like people like that who've done it themselves, they want to help other people, they want to make a difference, and that's what the Ormond Wade Institute is all about.
Yeah, they're the kind of people that have been out there, they've started a successful business, they've absolutely been there, done that. And actually, when we were at the Melbourne Accelerator Program Gala just a couple of months ago, we had a number of our students and donors there who were kind of able to swap stories.
Yeah, so later on we're going to talk about the ag tech type scholarship. But Neville and Di Vitale are huge supporters of the university in Ormond, and they want to make a difference to how food's produced in Australia. They're committed to clean food, really making a difference, and they know that young businesses and new businesses will help make a difference to Australia's future. So Neville and Di have supported the scholarship program right from the start. They're just fantastic supporters.
It's a really great community. And it's not just individual or people, alumni who have provided scholarships. We've got a number of corporate people who are on board as well. People like Australia Post, Cause Chambers Westgar, the law firm, MYOB, the accounting software, and Credit Suisse have all provided corporate scholarships as well. Why are they really keen to support people going through a University of Melbourne Master's degree?
Because I think they can see that the Masters gives the sort of people who are setting up high-end businesses or businesses that make a difference all the skills they need to succeed. So some people say, well, why don't I just have a go and have a crack at it? And that may or may not work, and in fact more likely won't work. But you need actual real skills so that even if your first venture fails, your second one will succeed. So they are investing really in people and Australia by doing that, and they're going to create the difference for the future, and it's great that they see it, they see a bit of a long-term pathway, I think.
I think absolutely, and with all of our corporate partners, I think the theme really is that it's businesses supporting businesses. They know that that our students are creating the businesses of the future, and they want to be with them from the very get-go.
I think that's certainly true.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit before before, I want to talk a bit about some of our specific scholarships. We've got lots of scholarships and we can't talk about them all, unfortunately, today, but there are a couple that I think it would be good to flesh out and for people to understand how they might be able to fit into.
So one of the scholarships that the support we've had right from the start is from Naomi Milgram, a very well-known female entrepreneur herself.
Founder of the Suzanne Group.
Yeah, she is CEO of the Suzanne Group. She's an incredible philanthropist and person committed to the arts. And she supports a woman entrepreneur to come here and incredibly passionate about doing that. And I think businesses for women is an incredible way to create your own future. And this year, one of the students, Dash, is a student close to my own heart because she was at Ormond studying a Master of International Finance and Business and decided to translate that into a real business for herself rather than going to work for someone else. And Naomi saw this vision that Dash had for herself, women in finance, equating equality for women, and supported her with this scholarship, which is $25,000 a year, which means Dash has really got her living costs covered, and she's a great ambassador for Wade herself and women in general. And I think, you know, there's all sorts of scholarships. One of our other fantastic scholarships is about impact entrepreneurship, which impact entrepreneurship is about creating a business that actually obviously raises money and revenue, but makes a difference in the world. And Amanda Coote, who's a well-known businesswoman herself, supports that scholarship. And this year, Laura Youngson has received that. Now, Laura's amazing, as you know. Laura's gone off and led a high-altitude soccer game at Mount Kilimanjaro, and I watched a movie.
And she's actually, right this very second, giving a TEDx talk at TEDx Melbourne, was one of the people selected through as wild card for that. So just amazing.
And she's got some brilliant ideas on women in football. I won't give them away in case someone else steals them, but empowering women in football and then making a social difference is just a fantastic all-round venture. So Amanda's thrilled. Amanda, as the donor, has given Laura financial support, but she's also mentoring her because she's a successful businesswoman herself. So there's all sorts of financial but other benefits with these scholarships as well.
And I think that's the really amazing thing. We talk a lot about community here, and that's really what it is. Many of our benefactors and people who provide scholarships, it's not just about giving a check every year and posting it in. It's really about being involved with our students and being able to help them succeed.
Being mentors, contributing their skill set to the whole cohort, but particularly to their scholarships.
Yeah.
So
there's a couple of areas that we've got a particular focus on here at Wade Institute because we're in Melbourne, we're in Australia, and we have some kind of competitive edges seeing as we're here. And one of those is very much in agriculture. Agriculture is a really important export industry for Australia. And you mentioned a bit before about Neville and Di Bertali, how they're really trying to drive the new startups that are going to revolutionise the agricultural industry. Can you talk a bit about that?
Well, they do. They're very, as I mentioned, very passionate about creating value in the Australian agricultural community, positioning it to sell to the world, because we do have a clean food position. And one of the students they supported last year, Sarah Last and her partner Elle, have created a business called meetme.so, which is really going to change the way chickens are incubated and hatched, and it will change the production of chickens in a really good way that will change not only that industry and disrupt that industry, but make life for chickens better, which I think is a really cool thing myself. And they're going to really make a difference in the world. So sometimes just a spark of idea needs support, and these sorts of scholarships and these sorts of donors and mentors are really going to make the difference to getting that dream a reality. And they are becoming a reality here. You know, we've got these businesses, they're supported by the donors, and Neville and Di are still connecting in with Sarah as their scholarship recipient, long after she's left Wade, and contributing to the business, using their networks. Other Ormond alumni have introduced them to other networks as well. So it's a very powerful thing, I think.
Yeah. And so All of these scholarships are provided to cover living and learning expenses while you're here and studying with us. And so what that means is that this doesn't come off the course fees, but it's actually paid as a monthly stipend directly to you from February until November. So it's really there to help you and support you while you're going through this really intensive year of studying and building your startup. Some of the other scholarships that we've also got available are from, as we mentioned, our corporate partners, so people like MyOb, Credit Suisse, Cause Chambers Westgarth and Australia Post. And so what they're really looking to support is high potential entrepreneurs who can show evidence of entrepreneurial ability. And so if you're wondering what that means for you, what they're looking for in their application, because all of our donors are involved with being able to select the right kinds of people who they're awarding.
Yeah, they have input into it.
They have input into the scholarship process. And so what our corporate partners are looking for is evidence of, entrepreneurialism already in your life. So that doesn't necessarily mean that you've already had this amazing business and you're generating revenue, but they want to see that you've given it a crack. Maybe you had the little eBay side hustle, maybe you started a business and it failed. All of that's totally okay.
You might even have a business that, you've just started, you don't know how to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
They're the sort of people, you're the sort of people that they want to talk to and connect with. So you don't have to have a massive business, just some evidence that you've had a bit of a go.
Yeah, I think that's it. So that's the kind of scholarship program. And then we've also got a program of financial assistance to make sure that financial barriers aren't going to be a barrier for you when you're studying the Masters.
So that actually means if you don't get one of the named scholarships, we do have a pot of money that we can look at, so there's no barrier for you if you can't financial need. So if you apply to Melbourne Uni via our website or via the university's website and then come to us and say, I quite financially can't make this work, we'll look at you, because if we've selected you, we want to make this a reality for you.
Absolutely. And for those who haven't yet been able to visit our campus, the Wade Institute does sit on the site of Ormond College, which is the largest of the residential colleges here at the University of Melbourne. Can you just tell us briefly what Ormond is and some of the other financial...
Well, I was going to tell you something more interesting than that, but I will tell you what Ormond is. It was founded in 1881. We've got quite a lot of resident students here and non-resident students here. But fundamentally, this is a place where you come to live and learn to support whatever university course that you're doing at the University of Melbourne. Now, we've got a really big graduate community. People from medicine, law, business, international relations, teaching, all living in one section of the college in these amazing purpose-built buildings. And at the moment we've got quite a few of the Master of Entrepreneurship students living here, so it's a chance, especially if you move from interstate, to connect in with a community that's there for you. You meet people, and in fact some of the students from the Master of Entrepreneurship have connected into other people maybe doing engineering or banking to build their business and get skills, which is fantastic. Now when if you decide to live here, there's money available, Georgia, to support that living, which does come off your residential fees here. There's food here. It's incredible. So go and have a look at the Ormond site as well. There's probably a link on the Wade website to follow through. And think about if you don't just live in Melbourne, if you want to move to Melbourne, there's some great options, and certainly be super happy to talk to you if you want to come down to Melbourne or talk to Georgia. You're welcome to pop over and have a chat to me as well, so that we can try and make that a reality too if we can.
Because they're super cool rooms. When you're a graduate here, it's your own room, own bathroom. You've got a shared kitchen with other people on your floor. And actually, there's a couple of students that once they started in at the Masters realised that they were here so much that they wanted to be able to live here on campus anyway. So get in, don't leave it too late.
Yeah, no, we do allocate them pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It is true, they were here so much, working so much, they realised that would facilitate and speed up every opportunity they had with their business, and therefore they're here all the time and they can access some of us that are here a lot as well. So they're using a lot of staff expertise for Ormond, and we're super happy to be involved in that, and if you're here, it's just an amazing environment.
So let's do some of the nuts and bolts kind of questions about when do people apply for financial assistance and how does it all work? So first of all, when can I apply for financial assistance or scholarships?
Well, Georgia, you would have had to, if you were a student and not the general manager of Wade, you would have applied to the for the Master of Entrepreneurship at the University of Melbourne, as I mentioned. So there's a link on the Wade website. There's a link on the Faculty of Business and Economics website. If all that's confusing, just send us an email and we'll send you the link. Then you have to submit some documents, obviously, because you need to have had an undergraduate course and a GPA of about 65. There's a questionnaire that you need to answer, and you need to send us a little bit of a video about yourself, and that's just so we get a feel for who you are. It doesn't have to, don't worry and do an epic. Then there's an interview process, and after that interview process, if you're successful, you receive an offer from the university. At that point, we find out that you've got through that, been involved through that process, and we would like to talk to you about financial assistance. So we'll email you, or you can contact us, put in the financial assistance application, and that's so that we understand exactly who you are, where you're at, what money you might have this year, what you think you might have next year, and that helps us assess your need, obviously. Then if you want to apply for some of these named scholarships, so if you're a woman, you can apply for the Women in Entrepreneurship, for example, you do need to write us an expression of interest, but we'll guide you on this. It's an easy process. It's so that we know exactly who you are, but also, especially someone like me, I've got a responsibility to the donors and the people who've given us money to say, oh look, I know about this person and I'm going to tell you about them. So I need to know as much about you as we can in that general sense for your to assess your financial need.
So key is you've got to put through your application for the Master of Entrepreneurship first, so you get that through. And once you're offered a place to join us for the Master of Entrepreneurship next year, you'll hear from us very soon after that, and that's when we can step you through the process.
Absolutely. And there's lots of help and support. I probably made it sound a little bit more like you were doing it yourself, but there's lots of support, no questions too silly. We're very happy to help you.
And our goal really here is to help you put your best foot forward. So for you to be able to create an expression of interest if you're wanting to apply for those named scholarships, that really helps describe who you are and what you're doing and where you see yourself going. So we're really happy to kind of walk through the process with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I see my job is, if any of you really want to come here and there's a financial barrier, my job is to help make that go away. So that's how I see my job.
Absolutely. And so you've got through to the Master of Entrepreneurship, you've put in your application for financial assistance. When are people going to find out if they've been given?
Just before Christmas, because we'll find out who's in the next round after this round, and we'll be looking at it. Now, we will be touching base with you if you want to ask questions about, this is my financial assistance. We can generally give you a little bit of an indication, but we will, before Christmas, be telling you exactly where the scholarships are allocated, so that you know and you can plan well to, for what you're doing next year. The course starts in February.
Yeah, so February 6th. I think is our beginning date next year. So we really want to make sure that before Christmas you can have a break, knowing what your position for the following year is going to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The $1 million question, Diane, the one that everybody always asks me, and I'm sure you get it too, is what are my chances? How do I know if I'm going to get financial assistance or not?
Well, I guess it's a tricky one to ask, because it depends. There is a very large pot of money, and it depends on how many people do apply to us and who need access to that. But as I've said, our role is to make this happen for you if we can. So it's a very good chance. We do everything we can. I look at other funds, if people come and live here, I try and support them in other ways with the allocation. So I think what, as much as we can, we're committed to making it happen for you.
Okay. Really good question here from Tony Tan. Hi, Tony. He's interested in an AgTech scholarship. What happens if I don't create a sustainable business by the end of the course? Then what happens then? And that's a really good
It is a good question. So the donor, Neville and Di Vitale, do want someone who is going to focus on an ag tech business, so not someone who has a bit of a try and maybe mid-year changes to a different topic. So I guess if you're passionate about it, if it's not a sustainable business, and in fact Sarah and Elle's business, who they did support, wasn't sustainable by the end of the year, but it certainly had a trajectory. They're very happy to continue using their networks, and they were happy with that. So I think you'd need to be committed to your idea or an idea like it, and not think, oh, maybe I'll do ag tech, or if I don't do ag tech, maybe I'll open a fashion business. That's probably not what we're looking for. But someone who's very interested in ag, it doesn't even have to be tech. If you've got a different part of agriculture, or even in a retail focus, that you can make difference in a food, selling overseas or something like that. They prefer about growing, but they would certainly consider other, viticulture they're very interested in, passionate about bees. So if anybody's interested in bees and honey, but shopping and changing during the year is not what they're looking for. They're looking for someone passionately committed. If your first idea doesn't work, have you got another idea for ag tech?
Yeah. And I think it's also important to note, that we're working with people on their ideas throughout the year, and whatever idea you come in with, that's not how it's going to look by the end of the year. All ideas change. That's the nature of business. And so you'll be what they call in startup lingo is kind of pivoting. And so you might be moving your business, but they are looking to see that there's a commitment to agriculture or ag tech. And that's why, because that's what they want to support at the end of the day.
So, for example, if you've got something, a degree in your past, or a business that you've started already, or even your family background, people from rural backgrounds or viticulture backgrounds, just some evidence that you're really interested in it, and that's what they're looking for.
So, one question I think that sometimes people ask as well is, so, for instance, if I get one of the agriculture scholarships, or MyOb, or Naomi Millman's Women's Entrepreneur Scholarship, what do I have to do? What are the expectations from me? Do I have to attend functions? What am I kind of going to do?
Well, everybody who comes to WADE, we know they're going to love it, and we know that they are going to be an ambassador for us. And we try and invite people to as many functions as we can, because it's great for them to network. So we have a high expectations of people's commitment and enthusiasm, because that's part of being here. It's part of a community. I think various donors have different expectations. It's not particularly that they expect you to make $1 million in the first year, although they probably like you to. They're not going to ask for any money back. In general, they want to support people, and they want to get to know you. Some do, some don't. You get to meet them, you get to connect with them. They expect very little except for you to be ethical, work hard, stay on topic, in the broadest sense. So they expect very little. They're here to support, but they expect you to put in a bit of hard yards, hard work. They're not just standing at their offices and thinking, who can I give money to today? Obviously, they want to support your dream, support your vision, and in some people's case, just support a different way that you might want to work. Like, a lot of people are sitting in corporate environments thinking, I want to change my life. Now, all of these donors understand that, and they want to empower people to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've only got a few more minutes left. So we want to wrap up on some of the other benefits that everybody gets at Wade Institute, regardless of if you've got financial assistance or if you've got a scholarship. And so, for instance, one of these is with Cause Chambers Westgarth. So, yes, they provide a $25,000 scholarship for one of the students, but they provide free legal advice for all of our students. So we were just in there a couple of weeks ago meeting with their partners and other senior lawyers so that we could build a relationship with our students, and all of our students are able to go and meet with the partners of Cause to get free legal advice. They also teach into the program. In fact, we had Phil Catania teaching into our class here this morning. So that's one of the benefits that everybody gets.
So free legal advice in this case means, you're starting to set up your business, you don't know what to do next, how to
do I need to get intellectual property protection? I've got to start employing people. What
should
are
I take a patent?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting, because that is very difficult to get good advice, and it's very expensive. in general. So this is an amazing opportunity. MyOb offers some incredible opportunities too.
So MyOb as well, I'm really passionate about getting to know all of our startups, and we've done a tour there already this year. And all of our students get 2 years worth of MyOb's accounting software for them to be able to use. We really love the MyOb story because they're showing how they're a business that is enduring through a really tumultuous kind of time, and that they've been able to endure past the CD-ROM phase and into cloud computing, and that's a really important story for us. The other things that everybody gets as part of Wade Institute is 24/7 access to the co-working space here, so you've got your own place to work for the year, and because we are at a residential college, we get 7 free meals a week, so there really is such a thing as a free lunch. They are very good. I've got another question, it's going to have to be the last one, from Mateen. Hi Mateen. I have a few ideas with a sustainable business model. How is this evaluated for scholarships? What do I need to do before funding activity concludes?
So you need to have thought about what your ideas are and be able to distill them down so that we can understand them. So try and practice telling someone else about your ideas, and then even record it, because that's a good way. So we need to really understand what your multiple ideas are, why you want to do that. So what's your personal commitment, what's your drive behind it, because certainly the donor, Amanda, who is involved in the selection process, likes to understand, so why does this person passionately believe about this? Because there's always times when these businesses get a little bit tough, and you've really got to have the passion for impact entrepreneurship to make it work. So why are you personally really into doing this? Why aren't you're looking at a different model? What are your ideas, and have you done any work or had any involvement in making any of those ideas a reality? That's what we'd be looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes sustainable refers to sustainability as in terms of the environment, and sometimes it means as in generating revenue and being able to cover its costs.
Yeah.
And
depends what you mean.
It's not that we're looking for already totally successful kinds of businesses. That's why you're coming in here, because you're going to learn to be able to make that a successful business. But what we're looking for is evidence that that you've gone out there, that maybe you've got potential customers on board, you've thought about what kind of model it might be, you've maybe approached other partner organisations. But for any of these questions, you can go to the website and book in a time to come and talk to me, or you can email us, and we're always really happy to have a one-on-one conversation to discuss your needs and what you need. But that's all we have time for today, Di. Thanks very much for coming along. I hope we've answered some of your questions. Like I said, you can always feel free to book in a time and come and meet with me, and we'll sit down and we'll go through your circumstances. If you're interested in finding out more about the student experience, check out our Facebook page. We did a Facebook Live last night with a panel of our current students and alumni talking about the highs and the lows of studying here, and how you can make the most out of your time here. But for now, that's all from us. Thanks heaps.